Super to see everybody coming in. Lots of friends and lots of people, new people that we don't know yet, but will be friends. You're all incredibly welcome. You're very, very welcome to our very first, but absolutely not the last webinar in this series called Good Enough. My name is Nadine Ferris France, and I'm the CEO of Beyond Stigma. So we are talking about self-stigma today, and those of you that know me and you know us know that we like to get close to the subject before we start talking about self-stigma. So inviting you all to just for a moment think about something that you absolutely would not want us to know about you. Something you really would not want us to know about you. You don't have to share it. I just want you to think about it. It might have been something that you did. It might have been something that you think. It could have been something that you are ashamed about, something that you think we would judge you for, something that makes you feel not good enough. And just to notice the emotions that start to surface: fear, shame, embarrassment, sometimes guilt, negative thoughts. You know, this is self-stigma alive and well inside each and every one of us. We're not talking about something out there. We are talking about something in here. Today, we're going to share with you some of the work that Zvandiri, that CeSHHAR and Beyond Stigma have been doing for the past 2 years. But so first, we're going to hear a little bit around about research to better understand what self-stigma actually means for and with young people living with HIV. And from their perspective, what could we do to address it? What it is, how does it manifest itself? Then we're going to share with you a program called Wakakosha, which is I'm worth it, means I'm worth it. And it's designed based on the research to effectively reduce self-stigma, to increase self-worth, self-agency, and most importantly, self-love. We're extremely grateful to our partners in this work, and that would be Viv Healthcare, it would be the Thinking Project, it would be Speak Up, Sing Out, and many individuals. I see some of you here today who've really helped us as we have learned by doing and molded and learned how to do this as we went along. In terms of the event today and the order for the event, we're going to have first 2 speakers on research. I'm going to introduce everybody just in a moment. Then we're going to, as I said, hear about the program. And then we would love to hear, we would like to hear from you all the way through. You are so welcome to put your comments, to ask questions, to share other resources, ideas that you have. And let's continue the learning. There's much to learn about self-stigma. In terms of housekeeping, we are recording this session. If you're not comfortable, please do turn off your video, and we're going to make the recording available afterwards. Having said that, we love participation and engagement, so we actually encourage you to keep your video on if you're comfortable to interact with us. And we're going to mute everybody as best as we can. And last but not least, don't forget to post on social media. As you hear things that these speakers are going to share, welcome to post on Twitter, post wherever you want to post on social media. We've got some hashtags that are going to be shared in the chat. Let's share the message around self-stigma. So without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce to you our speakers today. So we are going to first hear from Webster and from Camille. Webster Mavhu, he's a joint appointment between the Center for Sexual Health and HIV/AIDS Research Zimbabwe and the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine. I can tell you from working with him myself that he is a genius. He is also a reader in global health and social science. He has nearly 2 decades of experience of leading and conducting large and complex research projects in Africa, as well as evaluating a range of HIV programs on behalf of Ministries of Health, UNICEF, and the World Health Organization. He also has a huge heart. Webster, you are so welcome here today.
Thank you very much, and for the kind introduction. Maria, can you just share the screen?
Yeah, and Webster, I'll introduce your co-host here, who is Camille Rich, who's going to join Webster. Camille is a graduate of Trinity College in Dublin in the Masters of, she's in the Masters of Global Health. She's a former intern with Beyond Stigma and a researcher. She's from San Francisco. She currently lives in Washington, and she is just about to start medical school in UCLA in autumn. So why don't we start with you two, and then after that, I'll introduce our next speakers. So over to you, Webster and Camille.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much, everybody, for joining. So today we are going to share findings on research we conducted to explore the beliefs, experiences, and impacts of HIV-related self-stigma amongst adolescents and young adults living with HIV in Harare, in Zimbabwe. And this is a qualitative study. And just to put this research in context, we probably all know that stigma is a barrier to HIV treatment and management, where it can prevent people from seeking care or taking medication. And it can be experienced as either enacted, which is external stigma, or internalized self-stigma. And research has shown that self-stigma can be experienced almost 3 times more than enacted stigma. And it is critical to address self-stigma in sub-Saharan Africa, which is home to 85% of the world's adolescents living with HIV, and the only population with increasing mortality rates. We conducted research previously, which showed that adolescents living with HIV are particularly affected by stigma, including self-stigma. 73%, for example, said it affected their medication adherence. And from a randomized controlled trial we conducted at baseline, 47% had virological failure, which is a viral load, which is more than 1,000 copies per milliliter. So in this initiative, we explored self-stigmatization within this population and context to subsequently inform interventions. So I'll hand over to Camille now. Thank you.
So I will talk a little bit about our research methodology. We chose a qualitative approach because we're really trying to capture the lived experiences of self-stigma amongst our participants and truly understand their beliefs and experiences within their community. We conducted 16 semi-structured interviews that were half male and half female. This group was purposely chosen because of their membership of the organization Zvandiri and because their positive HIV status was already known. Our interview guide was semi-structured because we utilized a self-stigma framework designed by Corrigan et al., known as the 3 A's of self-stigmatization: awareness, agreement, and application. Self-stigma involves being aware of negative stereotypes or community beliefs, then either overtly or subconsciously agreeing with them, and finally applying those beliefs onto oneself and thinking things such as, I am worthless, or my life is hopeless. We use this framework so that our recorded experiences of self-stigma could be compared to others. However, it was semi-structured because we wanted to allow the conversation to flow where it was needed and use our questions as a jumping off point. The interviews were held over Zoom due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which also impacted the number of participants that we were able to include. I was involved in the interviews alongside my colleague Vongai, who was in person with our participants at the Zvandiri facilities. The interviews were held in both English and Shona, depending on the participants' comfort, and lasted roughly 45 minutes each. These were emotional and vulnerable conversations in which the participants bravely shared their stories with us. Interviews were recorded with their permission and transcribed verbatim. These transcripts were coded using the software in Vivo, in which we found themes for our research findings, which I will present on the next slide. Our research aimed to understand both the beliefs and experiences of self-stigma amongst this group. So I have broken down our findings into these 2 broad categories. Every single one of our participants reported experiencing self-stigma either frequently, which is about 3 to 4 times a week, or occasionally, roughly 1 to 2 times a week. Starting off with beliefs, when our participants self-stigmatized, they had negative self-perceptions. This included beliefs that they were worthless, hopeless, limited in their agency, and had negative body image. Due to their HIV status, they reported that they felt that their lives were worthless, they felt unclean, and that they would be unable to live their lives the way that they wanted. Self-stigmatizing thoughts can originate from experiencing discrimination, as well as internalizing negative cultural values and stereotypes about people living with HIV. These beliefs led to poor mental health, self-isolation, medication rejection, and suicidal thoughts, really demonstrating the serious real-life consequences of self-stigmatizing thoughts and beliefs. A quote to demonstrate these negative self-perceptions is from male respondent number 4. Quote, "When I heard that I was HIV positive, it lowered my self-esteem and I felt worthless. I started being reserved. I started disassociating with people. I felt the self-stigma. I could walk and think that it was written on the wall or on my forehead. I would walk and think that it is readable that you are HIV positive, that it can be seen." End quote. There were 3 main experiences of self-stigma reported by our participants, which included disclosure difficulties, relationship complications, and isolation. Disclosure of their HIV status was extremely difficult and was a major theme for all of the participants. When the participants self-stigmatized, they described that they felt worthless or unclean and could not bring themselves to disclose their status to their friends or loved ones. They often feared being gossiped about, discriminated against, or rejected. Studies have shown that peer acceptance at this age is hugely important in determining self-worth. Therefore, many of the participants chose not to disclose their HIV status in the hopes of acceptance. However, the burden of this secret made many of the participants feel shameful, stressed, and led some of them to stop taking their HIV medication. A quote to demonstrate the disclosure difficulties is from female respondent number 9. Quote, "It is difficult to tell people that you are HIV positive because you will struggle to walk in the community and in the neighborhood because people will humiliate you. They will shout at you, say terrible things about you because you are HIV positive." End quote. Between the ages of 18 and 24 is also a common age for people to start dating or form romantic or intimate relationships. Self-stigma made dating complicated and difficult for the participants. They described having low self-esteem due to their HIV status, causing them to fear being rejected if they disclose to a partner or just avoid dating altogether. Several of the participants described themselves as unlovable and hopeless to find someone who could ever accept them. Those who did try to date often opted to date someone who shared their same HIV status, so that disclosure would be easier. An interesting reoccurring comment, though, was that although participants said it was easier to date someone who shared an HIV status, that they would prefer to be dating someone who is HIV negative. And this demonstrates a deep-seated judgment that they may have towards themselves and their HIV, that they could still not even fully accept a partner who shared the same condition. A quote to demonstrate relationship difficulties is from male respondent number 12. Quote, "For me, it was a big challenge because I was looking for another who was not HIV positive. I wanted someone who was HIV negative to date, but the issue was disclosure. I thought I would be rejected." End quote. All of the participants described an intense loneliness due to their HIV status. The shame that they had due to their disease caused them to self-isolate and pull away from friends, families, and social gatherings. Their shame caused them to feel silenced about their HIV status with no one to turn to or talk to. Oftentimes it wasn't that they actually had no one to talk to, but the participants felt that they did not deserve or feel comfortable to talk to people about what was going on in their lives. Those are the self-stigmatizing thoughts that would cause participants to isolate themselves. Studies have shown that a support network is critical to the survival of people living with HIV, and without that, many of the participants reported depression and decreased health. A quote to demonstrate the experience of isolation is from female respondent number 15, quote, "It was really hard because I had no one to talk to, no one to express how I felt, and even my own family, they didn't understand," end quote. These beliefs and experiences were extremely common amongst our participants and prime examples of self-stigma that have led to negative life and health outcomes. Therefore, the implications of these findings are critical to explore in further research and healthcare interventions, which Webster will now talk to you all about.
Thank you, Camille. So, so in terms of summary, self-stigma was reported by nearly all respondents. And so it's critical to address this, especially among adolescents living with HIV. And coping strategies that for self-stigma that were helpful for the respondents should be incorporated into existing and future HIV interventions. For example, by addressing self-stigmatizing thoughts in counseling, in support groups, using inquiry-based stress reduction, which you hear about in a few more minutes, art, meditation, and mindfulness techniques. Previous research suggested a reduction in stigma and improved self-acceptance self-worth and confidence among peer-supported adolescents living with HIV. And innovative strategies such as these to both enhance and sustain this transformative effect should continue to be explored. Our findings informed the design of a peer-led intervention to support adolescents and young adolescents living with HIV in Zimbabwe on the journey from self-stigma to self-worth. And in a moment, you hear about this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you, Webster. Thank you, Camille. Thank you so much for just presenting that the way you did, and for bringing the voices and the issues faced by young people living with HIV in Zimbabwe really into the fore of our attention. And I really want to thank the young people, and I know there are some young people with us who have participated in that study and in the program, and without them it would be not possible. It absolutely would not be possible to understand or to design any programs to support young people. So thank you, guys. If anybody has any questions or comments for Camille and Webster, please put them into the chat. We're going to keep going and then come back and open the floor for questions all at once, because the research ties very well to the intervention. So we're going to keep going if that's okay. So in terms of the program then that Webster alluded to, we're going to hear from Vongai Munatsi. She is a clinical psychologist. She works for Zvandiri, which we've heard. I think everybody on the call knows quite a bit about Zvandiri and its incredible programs to support young people living with HIV, not just in Zimbabwe but beyond. Vongai works there. So she's responsible for Zvandiri's programs on mental health. She's a TEDx speaker, and she's a passionate advocate for reducing self-stigma and shame and increasing self-love. So Vongai has been instrumental in this program. We're also going to be joined today by Tafa. Tafa Chadamoya is a young man based in Harare in Zimbabwe, and he has been part of the Zvandiri program since 2009. He became a CAT, a community AIDS treatment supporter, for 5 years, and then a young mentor dad when he started his own young family. He also participated in the Wakakosha program, and we're going to hear from him from his perspective as well. Vongai, are you able to hear us coming to you? We know that you have some big challenges in the field today, and we are used to working with challenges all the way through this program. We have had to pivot, and pivot. So over to you. Tell us about the Wakakosha program. What happened? How did it work? What did you learn? Over to you.
Thank you, Nadine, and thank you so much to Webster and Camille for starting us off. We started this wonderful program as early as 2020. When we were talking to young people about self-stigma and wanting to find out more about their thoughts around self-stigma. So today we're going to give you an overview of what that program entailed and show you a bit of work that we have done to deal with self-stigma and to try to address it for young people living with HIV. So as I was saying, our project started with a workshop with adolescents and young people living with HIV. We wanted to know from them what they thought, what they felt self-stigma was, and how they were experiencing it. You can go to the next slide, Maria. Thank you. Okay, thank you. And from there, we did the formative research that Camille and Webster were talking about. And from that work, the formative research, together with the, sorry, I'm not sure what's happening to the slides. I think they're going way ahead of me, Maria. If you could go back to the second slide so that we can talk about the overview of the program. Showing you all our beautiful work there. Thank you. If you could go back to the previous slide. Okay, thank you. Let's stay on this slide, Maria. Thank you so much. So I was saying we started with a participatory workshop of young people talking to us about self-stigma and their thoughts and impressions of it. And then we moved from there and worked on formative research. And formative research was focusing on what Camille and Webster just shared and spoke to us about. And then that informed the development of the course that we worked with for the last year. Our course started in August 2021, where we recruited 30 young people. When we recruited these young people to participate in the intervention, we did a baseline to try and understand what their thoughts and experiences of self-stigma were. And I'm sure Webster spoke about that a little bit more. And the course was a hybrid of online and face-to-face sessions that were held over 16 weeks. And we were trying to do 3 hours online working with the young people to try and help them to understand self-stigma. And as we were working with them, we found out that we faced so many challenges and so many difficulties as a result of COVID-19. And this then forced us to change our model from face-to-face delivery to a hybrid of online and face-to-face sessions. The work included inquiry-based stress reduction. We also used music to diffuse a lot of the stressful thoughts and the stressful beliefs that were coming out of the work that we were doing. And we also used art to try and help the young people understand more about what we were trying to do and the work that we were doing. We also did work with the Beyond Stigma coaches who were helping us out quite a lot with the ongoing mentoring of the cats on inquiry as a work and as a tool. So we had coaches, international coaches from Beyond Stigma who were supporting the development of the curriculum and the work that we were doing. And then we also had local coaches from Zimbabwe that were also supporting the work. We also had participants doing one-on-one sessions with the coaches so that they would be able to get the skills that they needed to get in terms of inquiry. The participants also did sessions themselves, and then at the end of this course or during the work as we were doing it, we had initially called it BSWAG. We were talking about enhancing self-worth. We were talking about raising confidence in young people, and hence the acronym BSWAG. But the young people then reframed it and thought about it and said, no, this course is called Wakakosha, which means I am worth it or you are worth it. Next slide, please, Maria.
Hey, Vongai, do we still have Vongai, or how are we losing Vongai? Not sure. As we said, Vongai is in the field and network is a challenge. Nicola, in the absence of Vongai, and we might get her back, let me introduce Nicola Willis, who is the Executive Director.
I am back on.
You're back? Okay, Vongai,
Yay,
back to you. Thanks, Nicola.
God, I'm going to stop my video. Thanks, Nick. I'm going to stop my video. I'm hoping that that will help my connection a bit. So we had 16 sessions that we were running, and the 16 sessions, can we go back to that slide, Maria? I think it's running away from me. So the 16 sessions that we had focused on self-stigma and emotions and me. We looked at the power of thinking. We did really deep work in terms of talking about emotions, because young people needed to learn, you know, how to put their feelings into words. And we had so many tools that we used to do that. We also helped them to think about their thinking, which was something that was quite new that they had never done before. And then we introduced inquiry. We started very, very slowly, and also went on to talk about judgments around HIV, what others think about me, how HIV limits me. And then we deepened inquiry as a tool and as a skill that they had to learn and acquire with their medication and their HIV story. We spoke about their body and their body relating to sex. This was quite an interesting conversation, and you'll see some of the graphic recordings that we did on this. And then we also spoke about forgiveness, especially about the ways that they would have hurt themselves as a result of different things that they would have been doing during that time when they were self-stigmatizing or not thinking well of themselves. Again, we would then do more work to deepen inquiry and to deepen their skills in terms of the work that they were doing. We then spoke about shame and guilt. We spoke about relationships. We also spoke about death and dying. This is quite an important one because they also have so many losses that they have had in their lives. And then they're also always constantly thinking about death and dying, especially with COVID-19. This raised a lot of anxiety and worry about this. And we also then spoke about their future. Next slide, please. So from there, you can see our graphic recordings that we were doing for these sessions. You can see the first one here is talking about the emotions and power of thinking. So how are they feeling and how does that sort of affect their emotions and how does that affect their thinking? How does that affect their behavior? And so we help them to make those links around their thoughts, feelings, and their behaviors. The next one talks about, their medications and them sharing their stories and a lot of things around they feeling they're too big, talking about all of those things around pill burden. The next one talks about how HIV limits me and all of the inquiry that was done around turning around the thoughts that they felt HIV is a hindrance. I can't have a family, to then get into a place where people turn around the thought to I can have a family. And then thinking about also those negative perceptions that Camille was talking about, that I'm dirty, I'm worthless, I'm not good enough. And those thoughts and turning around those thoughts into something that is more positive, that is true and real about themselves. Next slide, please. Right, and then we have the next one on my body and how I feel about having sex. Again, like I was saying, there's lots of powerful revelations about this, that I'm going to infect my partner, and talking about you equals you, undetectable equals to untransmittable, and enjoying sex and not just having it because it's some of those things that I have to do, but with all of these negative thoughts that are coming with it. Also talking about my body and HIV, what I like about my body, what I don't like about my body, what HIV has done to my body, and all of these issues around feeling unlovable or feeling dirty and dangerous. And then inquiry itself, the 4 questions. Is it true? Can I absolutely know that it's true? And then thinking about it and also then turning it around. So there was quite a lot of rich information that the young people were working on. And then also getting to that place where they then talk about forgiveness not just for themselves, forgiveness towards their parents, where they used to blame their parents for infection, that it was my parent, it was my mom, or it was my dad, especially where we know that the HIV narrative has spoken quite a lot about immorality and prostitution and things like that, and the young people's identity being linked to all of those negative narratives, and them having to work through the process of forgiving their parents, forgiving themselves, and their own thoughts that they had about themselves and things that they have done to try to harm themselves because they felt they were not good enough. Next slide, please. Okay. And then again, other important work that we did was around death and dying, shame and guilt, relationships and fear of disclosure, and then again talking about my future. What would I want to be after I have, you know, thought about my life and thought about all of these things that are, you know, that promote or influence self-stigma, and the person that I have discovered and who I have become now. Where am I going? What would I want to see? How do I feel about myself and who I am? What's my new identity after working through this? So all of this was the package that we offered the young people for a period of 16 weeks, and we worked through it, and this is where we are now. Next slide, please. So we developed a lot of materials that worked with the curriculum. And the first one was this activity journal that we created for the young people to be able to use when we needed to move away from a face-to-face course, and the young people were working online or hybrid of face-to-face and online. We needed them to be working through the material that they were learning for a longer or protracted period of time, so that they would get the information, and that also it would sink in, and that it would also create the change that we were hoping that the work would do. And so they had this activity journal where they had homework. Every single day there was an activity that they had to do. And every week, depending on what we would have taught or what they would have learned, they would then go through the journal and do their homework and practice. So this slide is showing us, you know, a diary of emotions and feelings, where young people sometimes never used to have words for their feelings, but this diary was helping them to see, you know, a facial expression that would then align with the feelings that they were having. And it became a better way of helping them to identify their feelings and to also share what they were feeling and to put things into words. Next slide, please.
We can see it, Vongai.
Okay, thank you. There's a bit of a delay. Okay, yeah, it is slower for me. Thanks, Nicola. And so again, here we were talking about, this is again a page or an activity in the activity journal. And again, we're looking at different things, rating the intensity of feelings that they were having, and also then linking to where do I feel this emotion in my body. And so beginning to sort of say, if I'm anxious, maybe it's in my stomach, and how badly do I feel it? Again, the next one is an activity in the journal. You can go to the next one, it's fine. Again, the next one was talking about a brain dump, that the young people would then have to be thinking about their thoughts and sharing a little bit more. So this, on my right, we're talking about a brain dump where young people would write their thoughts so as to take out all their feelings and the things that they're thinking about. And to my left, they would be thinking about negativity bias. You know, I see somebody across the road, I see them laughing and I think they are laughing at me. All of these things were factors that would sort of influence self-stigma. And so there were activities that they were doing to try and help them to understand this better and to also think about their thinking a lot more. Next slide, please, Maria.
That slide is up, Vongai.
Yeah, can't see it, Nadine. It's not yet here. Okay, so on this one, we were you can see young people doing inquiry, practicing the work together and sharing and thinking about their thinking and their feelings together. But you also see here a letter of amends where a young person was writing to their body and apologizing for making themselves, for hurting themselves, trying to harm themselves by stopping taking their medication and trying to kill themselves. So they were actually apologizing to themselves for being bad and for hurting themselves because of self-stigma. And they were making a promise to themselves to take care of themselves better. Next slide. The next one is on the Wakakosha song, where the young people wrote a song for the program and in line with what they were learning. As we said before, they were learning how, whilst we were learning, we would use music to try and diffuse the work that we were doing, and the music was something that the young people loved and enjoyed, and it expressed self-stigma in a very different way. And so the Wakakosha song was made up of lyrics that everybody wrote to express what the project meant to them and how things, how they wanted to then move on, and the strength that they felt after participating in the program. Next slide. We also did evaluations at the end of every session, and so the young people would share their thoughts around each session. And so, you know, with inquiry, they would say, don't judge anyone without inquiring first, or without using the 4 questions of inquiry. You know, around self-stigma and shame, you know, they would talk about, I can free myself from shame. I've learned a lot, not to stigmatize myself. I'm worth it. So all of these were feedback from young people about how they felt about the project and the program. Next slide. We also did the Zvandiri, the self-stigma campaign. And as we're working with the self-stigma campaign, we did the Zvandiri radio show, and we did shows talking about self-stigma, talking about self-inquiry and how you use it to promote self-worth. And so this is an ongoing process that we are doing to do an awareness campaign on self-stigma, and to help people understand more about the impact of self-stigma on young people living with HIV and all other people in many different aspects and many different areas of their lives. Next slide, please. So Wakakosha in 2022, we want to develop a Wakakosha toolkit from all the work that we've done. We want to continue practicing inquiry, especially with the kids that have already been trained. We also want to train trainers so that we have this in-house and we can be able to scale it up and to move it forward in the future. We're also continuing with the research work that we are doing with CeSHHAR and Webster. We are also working on developing an online app, an activity journal workshops. There's a lot of work that we've developed from, or that we've gathered from the activity journals around self-stigma and the responses of young people that will help us to carry this work forward. The self-stigma campaign we've already spoken about. and then we've got here the feedback from young people on the impact of the project, where they've learned to appreciate themselves, where they've learned that they're not worthless, they're free from shame, and then there are always ways to look at things differently than the ways that they've always thought of thinking about things. So as we go forward and with our work beyond 2022, we are looking at an increased budget so that we can continue working and doing this work that we are doing in terms of developing the program. We also want to think about scaling this work up across Southern Africa as part of the KETS model in places where Zvandiri has been adopted. We need more time to kind of develop and test the online application and the work that we are doing there. And then we also need to continue supporting the CATS on the inquiry methodology, because it's something that needs practice. And then we are thinking about also doing a randomized control trial, and then looking for funding to do this work, then also developing a project from 2023 to 2016 that is then embedded into the Zvandiri model and the KETS approach. Thanks, Nadine, over to you.
Well done, Vongai. Absolutely incredible that we managed to keep with you all of the time. So well done, despite the constraints and network challenges. Wonderful to hear you present that project, and thank you so much. I think it would be really wonderful to hear from Tefa, who is with us, as I mentioned, as I introduced him in the beginning. Tefa, are you there with us? Wonderful. Great to see you, Tefa. You're welcome. You are muted, Tefa. See if you can unmute. We really want to hear your voice.
Yeah, hello everyone.
There you are. Hi, Tefa. How are you?
I'm good. How's the day?
All is very good, and we're so happy to listen to what you have to say about this program. We hear a lot about what these programs do and how they're designed for young people, to support young people. How about from your perspective, Tefa? You're a young dad. How has the impact of self-stigma, how has that affected your relationship with your child, in other relationships in your life? Tell us a little bit about self-stigma from your perspective.
Yeah, thank you very much. The impact of self-stigma affects a lot. I used to feel I'm not good enough, and I used to feel that I'm not a man like other men. Because, sometimes if feeling this is like, you don't want to spend some time with your child. You don't want to involve in everything that they are doing, even if with the partners, even in the community member. Sometimes I struggled with confidence and self-esteem, even to get into the relationships. It was difficult to me when I was doing the Wakakosha project. The Wakakosha project, I learned to question my thoughts, and I realized that what I was thinking was not it, because sometimes what you think is not real what is happening. So in Wakakosha, I learned also to have confidence, to have to question my thinking, everything that I'm thinking, is it true or is it okay, using the turning around questioning. Yeah, that is what I learned. And I learned even if to love my body and to love others, because sometimes as a young dad, as a young man, we enter into a relationship or into a marriage without knowing, but there's a lot of things that we face out there, and we are still at a tender young age, and we have no experience what we say life. We don't know life, what is it? And those lot of things that we are facing in our life, different community, you know, that used to affect me, and have so many questions and have so many things that made me to stigmatize and to lose self-love with my child. You know, the expectation of the community and the expectation of the woman and everything sometimes will come into my head and depress me. Thank you.
Tafa, thank you so much for sharing your perspective. And I know it's inspiring me, and I know it's inspiring everybody who's listening to you. And I know that you are involved in the CATS program. So I guess one last question for you is, what message are you going to bring into the communities that you're working with, supporting all of the young people and in Zimbabwe and beyond? What is your message around self-stigma and self-love?
Yeah, as a trained young mental dad, I need to get to sit down with other peers and to teach them what I learned from Wakakosha, to question their thinking and address the self-stigma for them, for their clients, and for themselves as well.
Tafa, I don't know how you're going to respond to this, but I know that in the sessions, there was a lot of singing, and I remember your beautiful voice, and I wonder, are you able to sing even a tiny bit of the Wakakosha song? Would you be willing to sing that today? What is that Wakakosha? Can you remember the chorus?
Yes, I still remember, but you know, the voice, you know, but I hope you can manage, because I'm not a good singer, although.
Is that true? Is that true? I remember questioning those thoughts in our course.
No, yeah. So our song of Wakakosha goes like this: Wakakosha, you were fit. Wakakosha, you are important. Wakakosha, you were fit. Wakakosha, you are important. Wakakosha, you were fit. Wakakosha, you are important. Yeah.
Wow. Well done, Tafa. I hear other voices singing with you from in different places in Zoom. Tafa, thank you so much for sharing your perspective. Absolutely wonderful to hear from you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Wonderful. I know we're going to be short of time, and regardless of that, we would love to hear Sylvia. I know you're with us, Sylvia Vambunu. She is a coach qualified in the inquiry-based stress reduction, the work method, self-inquiry method. She's a coach, and she's a member of ZNNP+, and herself with our other 3 coaches, we're basically there and supporting the delivery of this program, delivering it. Sylvia, are you able to hear us?
Yes, Nadine.
Aha, Sylvia, you are so
Hi,
welcome.
how are you?
Hey,
how
we are good.
Everyone? Fine.
We're good. We're so good.
Yes.
We can see you looking cold, looking cold.
Yes,
Sylvia.
Very cold this side.
Sylvia, we have just one question for you. I mean, it was an incredible experience watching you and Ronica and Maud and Saru delivering and working with the young people. What's one thing that you learned about working with the young people on self-stigma and self-love using inquiry? What one thing would you like to share with us?
I learned a lot, starting from young people concentrating on this stigma that they got from other people, unlike the stigma that they put on themselves. So they were concentrating on stigma from the outside and not self-stigma. So I've also learned that they had a lot of unanswered questions from their parents, because most of them got this disease from their parents. So they had a lot of unanswered questions, and they struggled with so many stressful thoughts. Some were not even taking their medication very well, but after doing sessions of a lot of questioning of why they were not taking their medication very well, it helped a lot of them.
Mhm. Thank you, Sylvia. Good. So Sylvia, will you stay with us? And I'd just like to invite everybody who's spoken today, just if we can spotlight everybody. And Nicola, I didn't get a chance just to I nearly introduced you, but as the executive director of Zvandiri and, you know, having been involved in CATS and the scale up, I might even take one of the questions that that has come in and maybe throw it your way, which was, did the Wakakosha program look into the impact of COVID on mental health? You know, preliminary findings indicate that people living with HIV were more prone than the general population to mental health issues, including depression and anxiety and perhaps self-stigma. Is there anything you would like to say? You're welcome to speak on any topic, and if you can answer that one too, that would be super.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just a joy to listen to all this. I don't need to say much other than to thank to acknowledge this incredible partnership. I mean, you're seeing kind of self-stigma gurus and diehard advocates coming together with young people, all backed by research, and the fabulous mentorship from a team like Sylvia here in Zimbabwe, and supported by Viv Positive Action. So what a fabulous combination, and just the combination of the creativity, but and drawing on that and young people's lived experiences to truly make a change. And so it's all very exciting. I've been following all the comments. It's wonderful to see everybody's enthusiasm, and yeah, we're excited to see how it goes forward. In answer to the question about COVID, yeah, sure. I mean, just as a broader program, we've been tracking mental health over the last 2 years anyway. And of course, this project, Cecilia knows, has pivoted so many times, as Nadine said at the beginning, because of COVID, and what the team were able to do, always being responsive to changing from in-person to hybrid, virtual, et cetera, it's been back and forth. So I would say, yes, we've certainly been tracking mental health within this program. And just the masses of data that's been collected and the experiences that Vongai has been sharing certainly point to heightened mental health risks in this group, and correlating with stigma, self-stigma. So we'll be able to share much more on that from this program, but also our larger program. I hope that answers the question. Vongai, I don't know if you want to add anything, but just huge congratulations to all of you, and thanks for everyone being so interested and excited about this project in the webinar.
Thank you, Nicola. And handing over to you, Vongai, in case there is anything else you want to add. But also there's another question in there about, you know, it's what an innovative way that's being used to express feelings, work on thoughts, work on self-stigma. In terms of the follow-up that's been done, how can we ensure that young people are keeping up with the promises they made to themselves regarding self-worth? And that's a good question for you too, Tafa. I might come to you next. Vongai, any thoughts on that? How are we keeping these promises of self-love?
Thanks, Nadine. I think self-love is an ongoing process, and self-acceptance is an ongoing process. And what we've done is we've planted the seeds, and the young people have started developing this and working through this. And as you heard Tafa talking about how it's a day-to-day journey of now inquiring, thinking about my own thinking about if I am showing self-love to myself and changing, you know, the ways that I used to behave in the past that didn't foster self-love. So it is an ongoing process. And this is the beauty about this intervention, that once you start it, it's very difficult for you to stop. Once you start thinking about your thinking, you can never stop thinking about your thinking and questioning what you are doing, and if what you are doing is actually loving and self-loving, or if it is accepting, or it is self-stigmatizing. And so this is just the beginning. And like we said, we are working in 2022 to broaden this and to deepen this and to work on it some more, so that we continue entrenching it into our programming and continue growing it. I hope that helps. Thanks.
Thank you, Vongai. Tafa, how about from your perspective? How are you and the other young people that you're working alongside, how are you keeping that promise of self-love that you made to yourself? How are you keeping that alive?
Yeah, you know, it's like my auntie said, that it's a process that you you need to follow and you need to do. But firstly, it starts with in heart. Are you able to do it? Are you able to question your thinking? Are you able to follow that thing? Because if you follow that thing, you change bit by bit, because no one will change just I'm changing and everything is okay, but you change as time goes on by questioning your thinking and by doing what is good and know your emotion, what you are feeling and what is happening surrounds you. By that way, you'll be good, you'll be feel that I'm worthy.
Thank you, Tafa, and no doubt with you there supporting all of the other young people, and you guys will, as you have done from the start, show us what that means and show us how to do that, and we will continue to learn from you. Just to note, Sean in the chat, I really love the name Wakakosha, I am worth it. We also love the name. We particularly love that the young people themselves took the original name of the project B-Swag and put it to the side gently and came very, very strongly forward with a name that worked for the young people. As Sean said, it's very powerful, much at the heart of moving along that journey from self-stigma to self-worth. And we're also so grateful to you, Sean and Cecilia and Savita and the whole team and Viv for your ongoing support. Is there, let me see, Webster, I guess one last question before we move to the end. Webster and Camille, I guess it's just the research. We're in the process of evaluating this intervention. As you know, there's quantitative and qualitative. We're learning a lot about how to measure self-stigma and what to measure. Do you have any comments about measuring self-stigma? How difficult it is to measure? What do we need to do in this field to measure better the changes that Tafa and others have mentioned? If you can hear me.
Okay, thanks, Nadine. Sorry, I can't put on my camera because I'm having bandwidth issues. But in terms of measurement, we've been looking at some of the scales that have been developed. Apparently, we've got a similar program that's going on, and we are hoping to kind of test some of these positive psychological constructs, including self-stigma, and then come up with validated measures which we can apply within this context to adapting them and making sure that they apply within our context. So this is work in progress. I think I must say that currently it's challenging to use scales that are available, either because they don't capture self-stigma very well, they were developed elsewhere, but also we need to be able to adapt them to suit the context and so that they are understood the way we want them by the locals. Thank you.
Thank you, Webster, and thank you for all of the great work that you're doing in terms of measurement and support in this area that is not easy to define, not easy to understand, and not easy to change and then to measure that change. So thank you so much. As we move really to the end, just to let everybody know, there will be a little treat, a video. If you can stay right till the end, you will be treated with a video hot off the press around stigma. And before that, we like to walk the talk. So inviting everybody who's here just for one moment to turn on your camera as an expression, really as an expression of your own passion to end self-stigma and to move to self-love. We would love for you to share some love with everybody here, from yourself to us all. You can put on the gallery view so we can see each other just for 1 second. We love that. And everybody, just inviting everybody to share love from yourself, self-love. This is what it looks like. Let's remind ourselves what it feels like. Good, well done, everybody. We would like to, of course, stay connected to people. We know when you've registered for the webinar that many of you have signed up to stay connected to us. If you'd like any if you have any suggestions about this webinar, other webinars that we should do, ways that we should share, please let us know. There's going to be a little evaluation popping up right in front of your eyes in one moment. I'm very grateful if you could just click whatever button works for you. Please follow us on social media. There are some links coming in there. You can follow Zvandiri, you can follow Beyond Stigma, you can follow CeSHHHAR. We will make this recording available. And I just really want to thank everybody, all of our speakers today for, just for sharing this work, the way that it was implemented. It feels like true to the integrity of everything that, that this has been about. Absolutely delighted to share a little video put together very recently for the UNAIDS PCB by Zvandiri and the wonderful young people about stigma and education. So here is a key message we leave you with today, and thank you for your love and attention.
Going to school gives us knowledge and skills. At school, we make friends and we become one family.
Also, at school, we learn how to take care of ourselves. That's where we learn how to survive. When you stigmatize me, I feel ashamed.
When you stigmatize me, I feel like school is not for me and I drop out. When you stigmatize me, I lose confidence and I stop participating in class. I become depressed and I think of ending my life.
Please don't treat us differently. We also want and need to be treated like our peers. We need you to know facts about HIV and to share that with your students, because there is no need to fear us.
Take time to understand us and know what is happening in our lives. Please push us to be great, just like what you do with our HIV negative peers.
Don't call us names like moving grace. It's not funny. It's cruel and wrong. Let us also join your groups, your games and conversations. We also want to have fun and we also want to have friends.
We don't need your judgment. We need your friendship.
School gives us a chance for a better life and a bright future. But we need stigma in our classrooms to be replaced with love, understanding, and kindness.
Teachers and friends, you can help us to achieve this. Stigma in schools must end.
Thank you, friends. Thank you for staying the extra moment. And we hope that you share these messages about self-stigma and self-love in all of the work and the spaces that you go. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Thank you so much. And we will be in touch soon. Bye, everybody.